to become world heavyweight champion. Danny Williams and his trainer Jim McDonnell won't hear of defeat.
I don't let it get to me, you know, because when it gets to me, that's when you won't see the best Danny Williams. So I've got to just take everything, just be relaxed with everything.
Danny at his best is the best heavyweight in the world, and I think you'll see him at his very best against Vitali Klitschko.
Williams' sensational knockout of Mike Tyson has projected him from a vacuum to Vegas in only 11 months. But he has a different set of problems here. Instead of a sawn-off, fading fighter like Tyson, he faces a man mountain who will dwarf him.
Rocky Marciano, more than all of them guys, you know, he's got tremendous heart, and you know, this is what I need to be victorious in this fight.
Klitschko is giving away £20 to the 19-stone-4 Williams. But at 6'7", the champion could dominate with those jabs and big right hands as Williams toils to get close enough to land. But Danny does have a plan.
Basically, I take a leaf out of Mike Tyson's, you know, when he was at his best. You know, a lot of head movement, get inside and let the shots rip.
It's going to be proper on him from the first round. He's going to box at a pace he's never boxed at. And I believe by round 6, he'll be dragging him out to the deepest waters and drowning him.
Klitschko has been accused of being robotic and ugly to watch. Guilty, he says.
Yeah, I agree with that. My style is not impressive, but very effective.
The Ukrainian has lost only to Chris Bird and Lennox Lewis, and in both cases he was leading when injury forced him to retire. He's big, heavy-handed and intimidating.
I'm ready for all 12 rounds, and if I have a chance to knock Danny Williams, I use my chance.
These two men have both proved that they can dish it out and take it. It could be a brutal, even ugly, but dramatic fight.
And watching with Adam Smith, Lennox Lewis, former manager Frank Maloney.
Well, Frank Maloney joins me now, and Frank, you guided Lennox Lewis to the world heavyweight title. Do you believe that Danny Williams can be the next Briton to lift it tonight?
I hope so. I think so. You know, he's up for the fight. He's really talking positive, and he fancies the fight. But he's just now got to carry the way he's been behaving into that ring. And he's got to use the same performance that he used against Mike Tyson. He's got to believe that he can walk through walls tonight and do the impossible.
How good is Vitali Klitschko? Is he beatable? He's not easy to get past, though, is he?
No, he's a big fella, but, you know, a lot of big guys, their coordination is not that good. When he throws jabs, they fall a bit short. So Danny's got to be take risks. He's got to stay in the danger zone and try and slip them jabs and counter them. And I think that's the answer. You know, it depends how they prepared for it. And I think Jim McDonnell, you know, is a good trainer, so he'd have done his homework. And I think that's why they might have bulked themselves up, looking to go into the trenches and have a war.
Mentally, he seems spot on at last. Physically, do you think he'll take the fight to him, get inside and try and work Klitschko's body?
I think that's what he's got to do. You know, he can't afford to stay at a distance with Klitschko. He's too big and his reach is too long. He's got to take the risk and stay inside and slip that jab and work the body and just keep working him.
So, a happy night for British boxing or not?
Well, we've got our fingers crossed that it is. You know, we've had one good result tonight, and Danny will just top it and be the icing on the cake to start the new year off.
Thanks very much, Frank.
Glenn, again, Frank Maloney seems to want it to happen, but in his heart does not actually believe that it will happen here.
No, well, you know, I think everybody thinks it's a long shot. Danny's career hasn't looked that he's ever going to be heavyweight champion of the world. A great performance over Mike Tyson. Now he's got to do something against a very different type of opponent. He's got to change his style completely. You know, Danny's not used to going chasing people, getting in close, whipping in short hooks. That's what he's got to do against a bigger, you know, and very strong, tall man.
Danny Williams, thank you. We're on our way with Danny Williams. It is his moment. Let's join Jim Watt and first Ian Dow.
Danny Williams is on his way here. Still looking relaxed, still composed. He's worked out in the dressing room. Some of the British fans who are here reaching out to touch him. He's got a good sweat on and bidding tonight to become the first British heavyweight to actually win the world heavyweight title in America since Bob Fitzsimmons in 1897 in Carson City. Of course, Lennox Lewis has had his successes over here, but he didn't actually win the title in the first place in America. The knockout of Tyson has changed Danny Williams. Can he continue with the job here? Can he prove that he really is a world-class heavyweight to contend with? He's still smiling.
Yeah, Yeah, well, we've always called Danny an underachiever, but are we now exaggerating what he can achieve when he's at his best? Tonight we'll find out. The Tyson fight performance was wonderful, but was it a shot? It was a shot out of the blue. I can't repeat that. This is a far tougher job tonight.
Different technical problems, but they do have a plan. They know what they want to do. Can they do it? Jim McDonnell just keeping up the mood, the upbeat feel. He did really shock the world by what he did to Mike Tyson, and he made his name in America at a stroke because of that. He's respected as being dangerous. 3-1 underdog with the Las Vegas bookmakers, by the way, Danny Williams. But a lot of people have seen that as a sporting bet. But he does have to overcome the height and reach disadvantages that he will experience here against the very awkward Klitschko, who's keeping him waiting, Jim.
Yep, a little bit of the pro tricks. You can't blame him for that. I mean, everybody's affected by nerves, so it's always nice, the luxury of the champion. If you can leave the challenger hanging around, I'm pretty sure that's what he's doing.
Well, they're hoping he might just go off the boil in there, but all his family and friends, his big boxing mate Spencer Fearon is here, that great impersonator, his biggest fan Aaron Bergin, his security man Billy Spear, and the whole team, partner Zoe, the two daughters, in Jim McDonnell's whole family here as well, including sons James and Tom. And they'll all be rooting for Danny Williams, but Klitschko has other ideas as ever. Poker-faced, 33 years of age. He's been distracted and nearly quit this fight a couple of weeks ago, he says, because of the political crisis in his native Ukraine. And indeed, many of his fans here tonight are wearing the orange colours of the presidential candidate Yushchenko. And Klitschko is a big fan of his as well, but it's boxing he's got on his mind tonight. A lot of people have knocked him. They say he's robotic. They say that he's not that talented, but he can punch, he can take a punch, he can jab, and he's effective.
Yep, he makes the best of his attributes, and that's all you can ask anyone to do. And what we have to remember, the pressure is on him tonight, but he's been at this level several times in the past. Danny Williams, this is his first visit. This is the heavyweight championship of the world. Danny's never been here, this man has. Will that make the difference?
First defense of the title tonight for Vitali Klitschko, who's 2 years older at 33 than Danny Williams, who's arriving late on the biggest stage. Klitschko, who won the title against Corey Sanders in 8 rounds, but he gave Lennox Lewis a torrid battle, you might remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino here in Las Vegas, Nevada, K2 Promotions is proud to present the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the heavyweight championship of the world. Brought to you in association with the Mandalay Bay, HBO Pay-Per-View, and Nemiroff. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman John Bailey, Executive Director Mark Ratner, and the World Boxing Council, President Jose Suleiman, Supervisor Edmund Lipinski. The 3 judges at ringside scoring this contest on the 10-point system will be Dwayne Ford, Jerry Roth, and Daniel Vandeville. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Jay Nady. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching in the UK, Ukraine, and the world over, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trimmed with red, official weight 270 pounds or 19 stone 4 pounds, professional record 32 victories including 27 knockouts with only 3 defeats. From London, England, the challenger, the WBC number 7 light heavyweight contender in the world, Danny Williams. And his opponent, across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with gold, official weight 250 pounds, 17 stone, 12 pounds. Professional record, 34 victories, including 33 knockouts with only 2 defeats. He now trains and fights out of Los Angeles, California, and comes to us from Kiev, Ukraine. He's the 2-time world heavyweight champion, the reigning, defending WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Dr. Iron Fist, Vitali Klitschko.
Fans from the Ukraine, but outshouted by the British fans supporting Danny Williams here. The accumulated weight here, 37 stone, 2 pounds, the heaviest in history.
Obey my commands at all times. Defend yourself. Touch left now, it's got to work.
Williams is weight 19 stone 4, equaled only in history by Primo Carnera back in the 1930s. He was 19-4 as well. There's no 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count. Fighters can't be safe by the bell in any round. Pretty standard. Klitschko's first defense. The heavyweight scene a bit bare. He hasn't established himself yet as the natural successor to Lennox Lewis. Danny Williams looking to complete the transformation in 11 months from British title failure to world heavyweight champion. It would be a truly remarkable story if he was to do it here. Williams in the white trunks, and away we go. And you can see straight away Klitschko towers over him. Williams will look to get in close and pummel the body and set a fast pace. But he has to be careful about what he takes on the way in. Fast start from Williams, who does have fast hands and natural talent. There's the first of those big rights from Klitschko.
I mean, Klitschko looks massive. It's amazing, Danny's 19 stone 4. Look at the difference in the frames of these men. Danny will have to take chances here, but that could be his undoing. He's been knocked back. This is the last start he needed.
I think he's finding these pretty heavy-handed, maybe heavier-handed than he got from Tyson even. Seemed a bit disconcerted by that and driven back. And that might make him think that might knock some of the confidence. These jabs are definitely getting to Williams.
So these are thumping punches, even when they're not landing cleanly on target. You can feel the sheer power of them. Not the start we were looking from Williams. He's not getting dangerous-looking punches off.
Needs the head movement, doesn't he? Needs to be faster and stay out of the way. But at the moment, he can't miss Klitschko, even though he's fighting and having a punch. Now he's got him with the right hand. He staggered him. Williams in trouble in the first round, just as he was against Tyson. He stayed upright, but he's feeling these, all of them, each and every one of them.
And he cannot get near Klitschko's chin. This is what we feared would happen. This is what's made Klitschko such the heavy favourite.
Now the right hand thumps in. Williams is getting hit too much. He's on the end of too much. The moment the plan to get in close is not working. The man mountain is dominating it.
And it looks like Danny's newfound confidence has just been ripped from him.
It's a torrid start, but it was in Louisville against Tyson too, remember.
It wasn't as hot as this scene. This is really serious.
He's getting picked apart here. It might be over quickly. Williams.
He must throw something back. He must take some chances.
Klitschko's looking to take him out here.
Danny must get some punches off. That's better, but he's doing nothing. He's badly stunned.
He's all over the place, Danny Williams here. It could be stopped. Down he goes. It's a hammering.
4, 5, 6.
And still 30 seconds left in the round. Oh, my goodness me. It's all unraveling. He needs the bell. There's no way back, surely, from this. He's just getting hit too much. No mobility, no head movement, no the right. He tries a haymaker, but I'm afraid to say here, this is one-sided and it's a pummeling. Oh, my goodness.
I don't actually know what's keeping Danny on his feet here. These are full-blooded shots. A disastrous first round for Danny Williams.
How did he get through that? How did he get through that? He's cut as well, Jim.
See, Danny, you cannot expect Danny to come back from this. This is far worse than anything we could have imagined. This is a complete disaster. He wasn't allowed to get punches off. He couldn't get close. He was unable to do anything.
Jim McDonald and Sterling McPherson are trying to lift him.
Too many people speaking to him at the one time. They want to calm him down, get some common sense into his head. They're no good screaming at him. It's no good motivating him. You have to get him under control. Look at these punches. They're clumsy, they're awkward, as we've always said, but they're powerful and they're thumping home. Thankfully not too many clean on the chin, or this fight would be over.
He doesn't need a minute to recover, he needs an hour.
It's the confidence that's been ripped from him. Unfortunately, Klitschko has brought back the old Danny Williams, I'm afraid. We'll see what he can do here. That's better. Get some punches off.
He must feel like a man going to the gallows as he comes out for round two. Williams. Maybe that extra weight just kept him in the contest in that first round. The sturdiness he's got from that, but it's also robbed him a bit of mobility as well. Where's the head movement they worked on? He's just been hit all the time. He needs to fight smaller, tuck up more.
You know, I thought one of the problems for Klitschko, he would seriously underestimate Danny. Well, you can see why now.
Another right, and how did he stay up again? This looks like mission impossible, it really does. Can he get his way back into the contest? He hasn't made a dent in Klitschko yet. It's a wrecking ball of a right hand that Klitschko has, and every one of them is sending Williams into a kind of dreamland. It's a wonder he's still in this fight.
He's just taking everything away from Williams, not allowing him to get anything set up whatsoever. The big upward jab, the right hand, anytime he chooses, there it goes again. He's doing exactly as he pleases.
Williams needs to find a punch from somewhere that might just turn things a little and make Klitschko think. At the moment he just dominates from the outside on the end of a big jab and paws him like a big bear with the right hand.
I mean, we have to remember Klitschko was outboxing Lennox Lewis at this stage. Did we just put too much on Danny's shoulders here tonight?
He just is eating that jab every time. It's like a big ramrod, metallic fist coming at him. Dr. Iron Fist, they call him. It must feel like iron to Williams, who's having to show tremendous grit to get this far in the contest. He's going to have to move that head. He's going to have to get those gloves up.
Well, he's showing the same courage he showed against Tyson, but as we knew beforehand, this is a far tougher fight for him. Really, totally in control. Klitschko doing what he likes.
Just a nightmare for Danny Williams so far. Nothing less than that. He's cut as well.
Klitschko is actually toying with him a little bit here, just dropping his hands, picking his punches, knowing Danny is not getting anything off.
Has everybody underestimated Vitali Klitschko? Is there more to him than the sort of Ivan Drago figure that some people might imagine? Williams does let go with a left hook.
And he's warming to things the same as he did against Tyson. He was badly hurt against Tyson. It's as though he's gotten used to the pain. Believe it or not, that was a better round for Danny Williams. Obviously, still Klitschko's round.
Fritz Sadunek is the main man in the corner, and brother Vladimir there in the background who's had a rough time of it lately. I'm amazed this fight's still going on.
Yeah, as I say, it's the same as the Tyson fight. It's as though he's actually gotten used to the pain. He's thinking that's as bad as it can get. I'm still here. Things are locked. They couldn't get worse. So just hang in there. But the trouble is, he's not been allowed to do anything. anything. I wonder, I mean, even looking at Klitschko, he's breathing heavily already.
Come on, baby, you're still in it.
Too excitable in that corner, aren't they? Too many voices.
They need a little bit of calm. One person should take charge when there's a crisis.
Yeah. Jim McDonnell should be doing the talking. Sterling McPherson's chattering away. I guess he's used to them all. Terry Stewart in there as well, by the way. He was the silent one. Now then, here we go, round 3. How did Williams get through the first?
And we shouldn't really expect Klitschko to run out of steam because he's controlling the pace. And he's taking nothing. That's better from Danny.
Gets it with a body shot and a left hook. Now then, there's the first sign of Klitschko being in any way discomforted. Can he edge closer? That's what he needs to do. If he can, even lay on Klitschko's chest and pummel the body. But getting past the jab and the right hand, the big problem we all envisaged has proved much, much more difficult than the Williams camp thought.
Yeah, I expected a little bit more mobility. We knew at 19 stone 4 there wouldn't be an awful lot of side-to-side head movement, but I thought he may have been able to impose himself on Klitschko, but he hasn't really been able to do that.
Klitschko weighing 20 pounds less at 17 stone 12, takes a right hand. Williams was close enough to land that. He's got a bit of a dig himself. Williams, remember how he turned it round against Tyson and won in the 4th. And just bit by bit, maybe he's finding the slightest foothold here, but it is a foothold on a precipice.
Well, the sharpness is leaving Klitschko's work as well, if you ever call it sharp. He's taking gulps of air in between the rounds. He's feeling this as well.
Well, Williams is still there, and the British fans are trying to lift him with chants of Danny. He gets there with a body shot. He can't do it again. He can't turn this round, surely.
You can't hold the rope.
Well, I did say beforehand, Klitschko does have a stamina problem. I'm one of the people who believe that because he's so stiff and robotic, he uses up so much steam. But looking at that first round, I did not give Danny a chance.
Just a bit of the sharpness gone from Klitschko, perhaps. And again, Williams using his footwork just to get close enough to land with a hook. He can't get rid of him. I think he thought in the first round this would be over by now, Vitali Klitschko, but he's still very much the boss.
See, we're forgetting all the amateur experience Klitschko has as well. I mean, he's retained the same style as he was as an amateur, so he's more or less perfected this. It's difficult to deal with.
I think his unorthodoxy makes him very difficult to fight. It's a plus for him.
Don't know if that was a low punch.
Yeah, it was.
He hit him really, really low that time.
Jane 80 is on the case.
You bring him up. Come in. Box.
He does that again, he might get a point deducted, but I think it wasn't a bad thing for him to do in a way, because at least it made something pretty. He's got him! He's got him! Walked onto it! Down again.
6.
He's not. Is he getting up?
He's cut.
Does he know the bell sounded? He's okay.
Just about. And the bell comes at exactly the right time for Danny Williams. Oh my goodness. What a night this is turning out for him.
Don't quit on me, Danny.
Well, that may even be worse than what happened to him in the first round, because it looked as though he was getting back into it. Too many people speaking to Danny Williams here.
Give me some water.
He needs advice, he needs some calmness, he doesn't need motivated.
And I think that person should be Jim McDonnell as well, but that's really a side issue. Look at that punch, a left hook, wasn't it?
See, all the punches up to that point have been straight. Danny's taken them on the forehead, but that was a hook which landed on the chin, and that is the reason there's so much of an impact. That was a beautiful left hook, clumsy looking, but landed bang on the spot.
It's worth reminding ourselves, Jim, that this fellow Klitschko, every time he's won, it's been by knockout, except in one fight against Timo Hoffman. He's done everything by knockout or stoppage. He can hit. Round 4. It's an absolute miracle that Williams has got this far. Was a minute long enough? Well, all that training and fantastic conditioning that Jim McDonnell gave him for this fight, including back-to-back sprints and enormous feats, pushing cars uphill. He's needed all that strength just to survive in the fight this long.
I mean, it's a pity that left hook landed just at a point where it looked as though Danny was getting himself back into the fight. That was a dangerous uppercut.
Oh, left hooks. He's just cuffing him around and dominating it, Klitschko. And I think he feels he's doing it for his currently troubled Ukraine as well. The first East European, of course, to be world heavyweight champion. Can't miss, can he? Where's the head movement from Danny Williams?
But Danny seems able to take the punches that come straight because he's catching him on the forehead. It's the hooks that are doing the damage.
Tremendous bravery and stickability from Danny Williams. Courage and grit too. But it's like the north face of the Eiger, the task he's got here. It does look absolutely impossible from what we're watching.
Just can't get past the jab. Been picked off again, but again taking them on the forehead and partially blocking them, so he's still in there.
He's going to earn that £1 million he's getting tonight. Every penny of it.
Well, if Danny had been knocked out in the first round, he would have a bit of a laughing stock. His career probably be over, but the show he's put up now, even if he doesn't win tonight, that he's still in the picture with the other heavyweights because they're fairly mediocre.
Comes back, he does land with a left hook. Klitschko, remember, has never been flawed in his career. He's durable, he's the one who's taking the punches better as well.
The wide stance he has as well, Liam, when he takes a shot, he's well balanced to absorb the effects of it. Danny's balance is all over the place because he is obviously stunned.
And the extra weight has robbed him of any speed as well, I'm afraid. I mean, the extra weight was there for him to get on the inside and be strong there.
Might see a point here.
Another low one from Danny Williams.
I don't think that one was dangerously low. It was low.
Has to be said, Klitschko looking a very decent champion here.
That was another punch to the chin that shocked him. Yep, he's in trouble again.
If Williams wins this, it would be one of the most astonishing comebacks in a fight that any of us have ever seen.
These are the rounds we've been talking about. Now you're going to suck it up and start to move your head. Move your head and go to the body. You don't want to quit on me, do you, champion? You want to win the heavyweight title tonight? Listen, you're still in this thing, Danny.
They still believe.
That's right, baby.
Yeah, well, I mean, things cannot get any worse, and he's still there. Klitschko's not showing the same power he was showing earlier, still winning things, still controlling things, but he is feeling the pace. But of the two, Danny looked far more tired.
Well, they've been telling me all week, the Williams camp, that this fellow Klitschko lacks stamina. Look at his record. He's stopped any number of opponents in the later rounds.
Yeah, but he's always been in control in those fights.
He's in control of this one, Jim.
Well, he is at the moment, but Danny at least is making him work, which some of his previous opponents haven't done.
Round 5.
Start the 3-minute round now.
Starting a 3-minute round now, says Jane Adey, in case anybody was in any doubt about that. Can Williams do something here to change the course of this incredibly one-sided contest? Oh, he's got him with a right hand over the top. Klitschko gives him a bit of an old-fashioned look.
But I don't know how much power Danny is mustering because his balance is not right. He's stunned with the punches he's been forced to take. If your balance is not right, that's where your power comes from. He's trundling forward, he's getting into range now at least. But I wonder, does he have the power to trouble Klitschko?
Now, Danny Williams has had to come through a firestorm just to get this far. Another left hand through the middle from Klitschko, who's pretty accurate. But he's being helped by the lack of head movement of Williams. Sterling McPherson was right about that in the corner. He's just eating these punches because he's not moving his head and tucking up and rolling. He needs to be able to roll from the waist to get into on the inside, doesn't he, Jim?
Yeah, but the problem is you can't change a man's style so drastically. So long into his career, he was never a bob and weave type fighter because of his height. So it's difficult to master that at this late stage. So in this kind of fight, it's just instinct and courage now. Technique is out the window as far as Williams is concerned. And he's just been picked off and outboxed and hurt as well.
Thoroughly painful. Another of those big clubbing right hands from Klitschko. He's proved much better than his brother Vladimir, who was supposed to be the heir apparent. Not so. The older brother's the boss in the family.
And Klitschko looks to have settled down now to the pace. He's won to the task, the second wind as they call it. He's used to this and he's coping with it well.
He's mixed at a higher level than Danny Williams, Tyson apart, and it's showing here too. Now then, Williams, there he is trying to get in close, but Klitschko wouldn't let him there. Bounced off the ropes, poked out that big, praying mantis type jab again.
This is unbelievable courage being shown by Williams. Nothing going right for him. Taking everything full force.
His face is swollen up, his right eye's closing. He's taking heavy bombardment here. That one moved him again, another right hand. This is courage above and beyond the call of duty from Danny Williams.
He's been pushed back now, Ian, and I think that is the end in sight. When Klitschko gets him on his back foot, the job is done, I'm afraid.
Bravely he tries to wade forward, but he just can't get to Klitschko. He just can't reach him.
This is the biggest chance of his life, but should we be thinking of getting him out of there?
It's almost painful to watch, isn't it?
Well, as soon as Danny has been pushed back, Klitschko has taken everything from him. Let's see what we're saying to him.
Come on, your children are watching you at home. Your children are watching you at home. They're watching.
Can you see?
Yeah, I can see. He can see, baby. Come on. Hey, your children are watching.
Well, they're trying the psychological stuff about the children watching it, but...
See, that's okay when you're in an even match and all you need is to dig in deep. That is not the case here. He's been out-punished, out-boxed, out-thought. Everything is against him. It's not a case of motivating him. It's giving him some advice that he can use, and I think we're beyond that.
I hope the children aren't watching. That's the scene outside on the famous strip. We're at the Mandalay Bay tonight, the big golden building.
Well, if Williams spends this round on his back foot, I would get him out of here at the end of it, whether he's still in the fight or not. If he's not coming forward, he has no chance of taking charge here.
Sixth round, Williams scores with a jab. We've very rarely been able to say that because he just cannot get close enough. He needs a step ladder or an elevator, I think, to get anywhere near Klitschko's hand speed is good there. He has been accurate. He hasn't wasted too much either.
See, Klitschko throws arm punches. They're awkward and they're powerful, but if he's coming forward, then they're going to be even more powerful, and I think that's what will make the difference in forcing a stoppage here.
Klitschko must be thinking, how is he still there?
Yep, Klitschko actually throwing combinations here without reply.
Just can't get any punches off at all. Danny Williams, all he can do is survive in the fight. He's doing that. This time he does get there, but the British fans have gone quiet. They feel for him. They know how much he's giving this, but it just is nowhere near enough. This is as one-sided as the fight between Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson, which ended with Lewis hammering Tyson to the floor in the 8th round.
Yep, and Klitschko is dishing out a lot more punishment than Lewis was. He was still a bit tentative. Klitschko is really going about this. Yeah, that's what we want. Rough him up.
Well, the Williams camp feel that Klitschko runs out of stamina about now in fights. They'd better hope something like that happens.
Well, this is a better round than I feared for Williams. Obviously, he's not winning it, but at least he's got his body weight forward, and he's giving it a go.
Although he hasn't won a thing, it's an extraordinary effort, this, from Danny Williams. And he does score with a body punch and a left hook. This is better from Williams.
But we're just seeing how difficult it is to do anything with this big fellow who uses all the advantages so well. He's been doing it for years.
Yes, he did it for years in the amateurs as well. He was a useful amateur, but it was his brother who won the Olympic gold. There's a clubbing right there. He has to watch those punches that land on the top of the head because they really can befuddle a boxer. He gets through another 3 minutes, but stumbles back to the corner, Danny Williams.
Yep, I don't think the sound of the bell came too soon then, because Danny was hurt with that last punch.
All in those orange caps, the Yushchenko supporters from the Ukraine. He's a good ambassador for the sport as well. His mum's a teacher, his dad was in the Soviet Air Force, and they now work in the Ukraine embassy in Germany.
Start using your jab. Move your eyes. Move the jab. Hey, Daddy, move your jab from one side to the other. Upstairs and downstairs. Upstairs and downstairs. Start moving it like you're moving in the gym. Come on, Jim.
Is Danny Williams hearing any of that?
No, I think it's just instinct that's pushing Danny on. The crazy pride that fighters have is hanging him in there, leaving him with a chance. But even the punches he's landed, he hasn't troubled this fellow in the slightest. And no signs that he's about to. That was better.
Hang on, what have we got going on here now? 2 body punches and a headshot from Williams at the start of this round. Maybe he feels that this part of the fight was the territory that they'd worked for. But he didn't know he'd be in this kind of shape, and having taken as much as he has just to get to this point in the contest.
Well, I think Klitschko must be the one asking the questions now. How on earth is this man still in front of me? Will he be affected by this? No reason why he should. He's winning everything hands down.
He needs more of those body shots he started the round with, Williams.
You see the way Klitschko can just push him off as well. That's down to the fact that Danny's balance is struggling because he's taken so much. He's still a little bit stunned from the punches he's taken.
Well, we saw a fight earlier this year where Juan Manuel Marquez at featherweight was on the floor 3 times in the opening round against Manny Pacquiao and came back to get a draw in an astonishing turnaround. But this would be something else again if Williams was to somehow get back in this. You just can't see it, being honest.
Well, my pre-fight prediction was Klitschko in points after the first round. I thought, boy, I got that wrong. But
oh, he's got him again here. He's got him going again.
Again, the difference when the punch catches the chin as opposed to the head.
Puffed up around the face. Impossibly brave, Danny Williams has to take another big right hand. And another 2. Caught off balance. Scrabbling around in the corner in a scene reminiscent from Tyson with Buster Douglas in Tokyo. It was a glancing blow, but it was enough.
Yeah, it glanced off the side of his head, but there was plenty of power in it.
Every punch seems to be travelling down to the sole of his very boots.
Well, we keep talking about the courage that Danny's showing, but let's also say Klitschko is boxing beautifully, if you can call what he does beautiful. His punch perfect, his tactics, the way he's gone about it, everything is in place.
He's fighting like a champion should. He's domineering. He's
switching
dictating.
To the body too.
He's just not letting Danny Williams into this at all. It's a one-sided pummeling, and it's horrible to watch in that regard. I just wonder whether they've got to think about pulling him out of the fight. I don't know how much more he's got.
The trouble is, he keeps producing little bits of success, and they are still dreaming.
He's dead tired. Danny, how you feeling?
They're still dreaming about Klitschko dropping the pace. See, every time a punch lands on the chin, you can see the effect right down to his boots.
Those eyes have almost shut, certainly the right eye.
Actually, when you see that in replay from the proper angle, that wasn't a target punch. It was actually in the back of his head.
Yeah, it was a balance. It was just his legs have gone. You see.
It caught him at the back of the head, so it wasn't on target, that punch. Probably shouldn't have been a knockdown, but we didn't spot it. Can't blame the referee for not spotting it.
His mum never wanted him to box in the first place, and he never wanted to box in the first place. He wanted to be a table tennis player, but his dad had a dream, and in the end, Danny Williams bought into that dream, the dream of becoming a world heavyweight champion. But we must say at the moment, it doesn't look like happening. At times, he's staggered through this like a drunkard on the street corner of a Saturday night. But what a brave man. Don't ever, ever question the heart or bottle of Danny Williams.
Well, one thing's for sure, it is a new Danny Williams. We couldn't have dreamt about this kind of performance this time last year. At the chin again.
Huge right hand. How is he taking this? He's trying to gamble. Big rights. These punches would have knocked out many other men. It's just a kind of mad, insane braveness really now from Danny Williams.
Yeah, there is no sign whatsoever that he could turn this around. His punches are not troubling Klitschko in the slightest. He's just soaking up.
Oh, there we go. That might be it. That might be it. Round 8. Big wrecking ball right from Klitschko. And still, he gets up. Will Jay Nady let him fight on? No, he will not. Over in the 8th round. But give all the credit in the world to Danny Williams for his bravery there. But Klitschko, Vitali Klitschko, is still the heavyweight champion of the world.
And it's not too often I see an American referee to be proud of, but thank heavens he picked the spot, got the reason and called that off. That was sickening. A wonderful effort from Danny all the way through. Courage like we've never seen. But this man, too good for him in every department. We were hypnotised, I think, by the Tyson performance. But the rest of Danny's career, nothing else he's done has suggested he's good enough to take the title from this man. And that's how it turned out. But what a fantastic effort.
One of the bravest efforts by any British boxer, I would say that, in history from Danny Williams. But the truth is, the bottom line is, he was totally outclassed and really had no answer at all to the height and reach and skills and power and durability and everything else of Klitschko, who fought that as if he is going to be a champion who will be long reigning.
Yeah, and the accuracy of Klitschko's work all the way through. We say he's ungainly, he's a little bit clumsy, but what about the accuracy he showed tonight? He could hardly miss. In the body stuff we see, doubling up with the same hand. It's as good as I've seen Klitschko. Obviously, winning the World Championship, he's grown in stature and improved, as most fighters seem to do. But just taking Danny apart here.
And really, it was merciful that it was over. You didn't want to see him take any more.
No, and congratulations to the referees. Some referees may have thought about it, but thankfully, got him out of there.
Well, I just hope Danny Williams is all right. And I really hope that his family weren't watching that, because they would have been in pain mentally every second. Klitschko looking like a good champion. The cupboard's a bit bare at the moment, but he's pretty good.
Before we give the official time, a round of applause for the courage and heart displayed by this challenger from London, England, Danny Williams. Referee Jay Nady calls a halt to this contest here at the Mandalay Bay of Las Vegas. The official time, 1 minute, 26 seconds of round number 8. The winner, and still the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Dr. Iron Fist, Vitali Klitschko.
A triumph for the Ukraine as well in this troubled time for that country. And all around the arena we have orange and white ticker tape. Again, a political message in support of Mr. Yushchenko. It was a very, very good performance, that by Vitali Klitschko.
It was an excellent performance. As I say, people criticise him for being an ugly performance. He's admitted that himself. But I thought that was punch perfect. He controlled every round. Everything Danny Williams tried to do was met head on. This guy was far too good for him. As I say, he's grown in stature, winning the title, and who knows how good he's going to be. But for me, he's without doubt the best heavyweight on the planet at the moment.
By a long way, I would say.
Yeah, probably so. And Danny, the courage Danny showed, if he had been wiped out in the first round, as it looked at the time, it would have been embarrassing. But the courage and the effort he's put up.
Congratulations. How does it make you feel to see these orange confetti coming down to celebrate not only your victory, but your feeling for the political reform cause back at home?
I'm very happy now to defend first time my most prestigious title of the world, and I'm very proud for that. I want to say thank you very much and wish my win for everybody in Ukraine who fight for democracy, who fight for the future, for our future, for future our children. And I'm really happy, and I send hello for everybody who support me, who cross the finish this fight.
Tell us about this fight, Danny Williams. Did you feel from the outset of the fight that you could just outbox him and punch him at will?
Danny Williams is very hard puncher, and he couple of times punched me very hard, and I was surprised from his iron chin. I have pain in my hand, but it's amazing. So many punches and big heart and big respect from you.
Well, they call you Dr. Iron Fist, so he surely must be Dr. Iron Chin after all of the punches. Once you knew you had him defeated, early in the fight it seemed you had him defeated, did you just want to box him the rest of the way and not give him any chance to change the fight?
I know I use my reach, yes, of course, and try to punching from long distance. I know Danny try to go close to me to make in fight, and actually I using our strategy, what we develop in preparation with our camp.
Was there a point where you felt this man is taking too many punches?
Yeah, it was a lot of harder punches, and I was surprised. Iron chin, big heart. Danny Williams never give up, go front to me, and it's iron. I am surprised how strong his chin is.
I have a question to ask. Very early in your fights, your mouth seems to come open. You seem to be breathing hard, and yet you go on. Are you tired, or is that just a habit you have always had?
I was cold, and starting from first round. Yes, of course, and you know, body need couple of rounds more to be warm up, and after that I'm relaxing, just boxing. As Fritz, my coach, give me advice, just boxing and knockout coming by himself.
So you never felt that you were getting tired in this fight?
I was tired a little bit, but I was ready. I was prepared for all 12 rounds.
Who would you like to fight in order to settle for once and all, in everybody's opinion, who the heavyweight champion of the world is?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding.
Who would you like to fight in order to settle any disputes that there might be on who really is the heavyweight champion?
I am the real heavyweight champion. I'm very proud to take the ring belt, bubble of boxing, and it's all boxing experts recognize me like the heavyweight champion. I am very proud for that, and actually audience makes the champions.
Thank you very much for another terrific performance, Vitali.
Thank you very much.
We can't argue with that, can we? We hope to get an opportunity to speak to Danny Williams shortly. Glenn, Johnny and Barry will give us their verdict when we come back, but Vitali Klitschko's power told the story of this fight. 34 of his 35 career wins are by stoppage, and Danny Williams found out all about that power in this fight. A comprehensive victory. No glory for Williams, only memory of his bravery. Vitali Klitschko's told us he is the best heavyweight in the world right now, and he's got every right to that tonight. He has surely shown it too. Danny Williams, our man, impossibly brave, wasn't he? Let's hear from him now, speaking to Larry Merchant.
You put on a brave show. You sure took a lot of punishment. Yeah. Was he just too smart defensively and too tall for you to get at him?
Yeah, it was a lot more awkward than I anticipated. Very, very awkward fight. Very awkward fight.
But smart. He stayed away. He didn't give you a real chance to throw anything big, did he?
Yes, that's. He was very clever. He in and out on angles. He was very, very, very clever. He didn't hit as hard as Mike Tyson, but he was more consistent with his punches.
What kept you going?
The world heavyweight title. I watched, like I said, I watched a lot of Rocky Marciano, and I want to grip through it, but he was just too good.
Thank you so much for a brave effort, Danny Williams.
Williams was all heart, wasn't he, Glenn? But that was painful to watch, wasn't it?
It was very painful to watch. He never got in. The first round was a complete disaster. And where did the game plan go? He was meant to get, they promised us he'd get close to Williams, to Klitschko. He'd throw short hooks. He'd drag him into warfare. It was going to out-tough him. Nothing. He stood at range, got picked off along, and then the right hand come in. Dreadful.
I have to say, during the week, that Glenn did suggest to us that through his career, Klitschko had performed at a higher level than Danny Williams, and that would show. Johnny, do you agree with that?
Yeah, Danny did himself a big style injustice there, because we know Danny can box, we know he's got speed of hand and everything, but he just looked like a raw novice. He looked totally schooled. I didn't recognise Danny Williams tonight, and Vitali just schooled him at will. He picked him, punched him, pushed him, bullied him. He wasn't stressed at any point in the fight. And to me, and to Danny, when he watches it, he'll think, why did I do this? And everybody, I don't think he got at least a cluster of punches off a round.
Barry, are we right in at least having had the hope that there might be much more from Danny Williams on the night?
But that evaporated in about 30 seconds. It just disappeared. As Len said, he promised to come out and show us aggression. He promised that he would match the champion with his jab. He promised that he would throw lots of punches. He would be aggressive. He would have lateral movement. There was none of that. And he just walked into that jab, and then hooks from side. And I'll tell you what, Klitschko is an awful lot better than people think.
And Danny has told us that he was taken by surprise.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have been taken by surprise. That's the point. He said he prepared well for this fight. He knew what he was going to do, but that game plan, as we suggested, a good right hand round the side like he kept getting nailed with, that soon sort of takes away your confidence, and just after that first round, it was going to be virtually impossible for him to recover from.
Where was the head?
There's nothing.
He just walked forward. He plodded forward. Barry suggested the way it would slow him down. We didn't think it would slow him down that much. He looked like he was 35 still.
I think the task of the job, the reality of the situation hit him the moment the first bell went. He thought, how am I going to get past this?
Johnny, that's wrong. Look, I knew the moment the bell goes, what happens is Klitschko goes right to the centre of the ring. He says, right, come and get me. And
well, he was certainly imposing himself, wasn't he, after that first round as the fight started to develop?
He just done what he wanted. Once he had him hurt that badly, concussed and damaged.
Danny didn't have a chance after that first round.
No,
he couldn't do anything.
I mean, his coordination went, whatever coordination he had, Glenn, it just disappeared after that.
You know what surprised me? I'm surprised at the corner, because Jim McDonald is a very... he has a plan. He has a game plan. That's how
he's
it works.
The man who's day by day prepared the job.
It was chaos, total chaos. They had what was his name?
Sterling
McPherson in the corner. I've never seen a guy work with Danny at all, and it wouldn't surprise me if when the dust has settled, it was down to Danny to bring Sterling McPherson there. He'd have talked his way into the corner.
But what does that tell you? Because he needs a guy to shout at him and motivate him and pump him up. That means if that is the case, that means, and we can't speculate, that means of course that, you know, he obviously wasn't confident.
As this turned into a shutout for Vitali Klitschko, Barry, were you saying to yourself, no, this is the heavyweight of our time?
Without doubt. This guy is going to establish himself as the best heavyweight around. He still has to work on his fitness, but I think he's getting better with every performance. I mean, OK, it was a bit ungainly at times, but he never missed Danny. These shots were good. Combinations, he was putting combinations in. He was hitting Danny to the body, stepping off to the side, wobbling him with shots around the side, bringing him up the middle.
Klitschko proved what he could do in his challenge to Lennox Lewis, and you know, he looks like he's improved from there, and he took Danny Williams to school. Look, 2 levels above anything Williams had.
Absolutely. I just think, you know what, you're right. Danny just looked like a 7-year-old trying to box his father. Klitschko, he just totally outclassed him, totally outschooled him at will, and he was never stressed at any point of the fight.
But you look at
to the point where he could dummy him.
I mean, just look at those shots here. Look at and the finish is absolutely spectacular. I mean, this is a big, awkward, ungainly guy we're told about. But you look how often he hits the target.
And the punches were coming from different angles. Not just straight shots, they're all various different angles. Totally confusing Danny. He didn't know if he was going to get hit to the body, hit with an uppercut, hit with a right hand over the top. And there were points where Vitali threw shots and Danny was totally off balance, and he dropped down anyway.
But he was very, you know, Klitschko said himself, you know, he's still not great to watch. He is robotic, but he's very, very effective.
Yeah, and he doesn't mind the self-deprecating stuff. He says, yeah, I'm not the most attractive to watch, but he says, I'm effective.
Yeah,
that's the point.
I'll tell you what's most effective about him is his stoppage ratio through his whole professional career. I mean, look, and he's got another one on the slate tonight.
For sure, when you're that size and you're that big, when you hit guys from this sort of distance, and look at how accurate he is. This is the impressive thing. Look at that uppercut, right? And you watch, he wobbles him with the right. Now watch this, what happens. Now look at the little room he has here. He's got a little room, watch, bang.
I think the difference is Klitschko had fought lots of guys like Danny Williams. Danny Williams had never fought anybody like Klitschko, and that showed.
The only good thing that Danny can get out of this fight, if there's anything good for Danny to pull out of this fight, is he showed his heart and his bedetermination, because it was an uphill struggle from the first second.
Round after round beaten. I mean, I don't think that there's no good. Well, it's courage, but there's no good to come out of that. He just took
absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, he took a phenomenal beating.
But as Jim said, if he'd have got knocked out cold in the first round, then it would have been totally disgraceful.
They travelled hopefully to Las Vegas. They didn't get the result that they were looking for. Some final thoughts on it all now from Jim and Ian.
Well, it was painful to watch. Danny Williams took a pasting there, frankly, didn't he, Jim?
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is criticise Danny after an effort like that, and I wouldn't dream of doing that, but quite simply, it wasn't good enough. Klitschko was far too good for him in every department, too strong, too powerful, too cute, too clever, just beat him in every aspect of the game, but the courage he showed was unbelievable, superhuman, actually.
Can Danny Williams have any kind of future as a world-class heavyweight after an ageing, damaging fight like that one?
Well, he sounds sharp enough after the fight. I thought he would have sounded as though his brains had been scrambled with the punishment it took. He sounds good, and the heavyweight division is poor at the moment. I think his reputation has been enhanced tonight. We don't know how good he is. We don't know if he's world class because we didn't see that tonight. But he's due a chance at one of the other heavyweight champions if he fancies that job.
Yeah, they won't all be as tall and as awkward as Vitali Klitschko. I mean, we say the heavyweight division is poor at the moment, but Vitali Klitschko isn't poor. He's doing the job with something to spare, isn't he?
Yes, he's by far the best of the bunch, without a doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. But the trouble for Danny tonight, he didn't get a chance to show his world class. Is he good enough to beat the other heavyweights? Maybe he is, but maybe he isn't. We don't know. We did not get a chance to see anything they could do because Klitschko didn't allow him to do anything.
I think really the bottom line is that at the moment, none of the other heavyweights are anywhere near Vitali Klitschko, who's had his critics, but I think we have to say now he's pretty useful.